and this is what that differentiates Flutter from React. In React, as there is JavaScript, so declaration is optional and you can skip declarations, but in Flutter every data need to be specifically declared or defined. Sorry, not data, the variables or constants. So you can check in the documentation that the types of variables and constants we have, but for now we will just stick with integer and string, because these are the data types that we will be using. And here we have in the bottom last part the factory declared, which is basically a type of function which will parse the data from the data that we will receive from the endpoint, and it will return the views and the product name in JSON format. So this is what our model will do. And if you will see most of the Flutter documentation, there is not very deep explanation for everything, but yeah, I think that things will work in Vue application only, sorry, in the Flutter application only if things are in correct format, and otherwise it will either give you a warning or a error. So if it's working, then definitely things are in good shape. Okay, so our model is ready, and now we need another module for HTTP calls. So for that also I have code in other application. So here I have named it HTTP service. So let's copy code from here, and here also we will create a new file, http ... and let's paste the code here. And I think few things are not needed here. Maybe this model will be needed, so we can just name it model .dart, because that is what we have named it here, the model .dart file. HTTP we are getting from the HTTP package which we installed earlier, and this convert is the part of Dart, so we don't need to install it. So here again for using HTTP as service, we have created a HTTP service class. It is the custom created class, so you can give it any name you wish. I have given it name of HTTP service. And here again we have a URI class that has a HTTPS function which is taking the parameters, that is the host name of the endpoint and the remaining part of the endpoint. So and here we have just below this we are using future. So future is something in Flutter that allows us to use the data that we don't know. So if we are about to get data in future, we don't know about it in present, then we can use this future data type. I haven't got lots of explanation about this future, but all I can get is that future is something which we use when we will get the result or the data in future. So this getView method is declared type future, which is again of type list, because ultimately we will convert the data in a list type. And then there is a view. View is basically the model that we created. So 3 level of parsing is going here. View model is getting converted into list, and then everything is in future. And here we are passing some parameters, that is the new date, month and year that we will getting from the date picker. And then we are just creating a complete date, a new date, and then we are sending this new date as a parameter to our HTTP call. And the response that we are getting, we are checking the response. If it is of type 200, that is this, we are getting the response successfully. Then we are just decoding the JSON data and converting it in the list type, and then we are using that list type and we are mapping through the data, and I think we are converting it completely to the list type, because here we have the dynamic list, and from dynamic list we are converting it to the view list type, that is the model that we created. So data will be completely in the format of model, and then we are returning it as a view. So this is what all this HTTP service class is doing. So I think we can use this class as it is without making much changes. Okay, now we need to use this class in our main.dart so that we can list the data that we receive. So I will again check my previous implementation. Okay, so here we are using this HTTP service class. So I will copy this code, and I think we also have to import the HTTP service class. So let's first import the HTTP service class. Okay, so it's telling that we are not using this, we are yet not using this HTTP Dart that we are importing. So once we use it in our code, that blue warning line will be removed. So let's use this class. So I think we can just use this below the select date method. Just below the select date we can use this. That is there. Now code placement is very important in Flutter. If we want to use the HTTP service object inside the next build, or I think in this select date method, then we have to use it, we have to declare it here itself. If we declare it somewhere outside, like if we declare it somewhere here, then things will not work. Even if we declare it somewhere here, I think it will not work. Let's try it out and see. Okay, so this will also give you idea like how important the code placement is in Flutter. So now we have to use things in the body part. Currently in the body part we have, in fact there is content and then there is text. So we have to use so here we have a child in the body. So what we will do, we will just put it below the button, and in order to do so we need to replace some codes. That is, this body part completely we can replace. So what I will do, I will copy this complete part and replace this with this body. Provided it doesn't give any error. So here also we are using the model, so we will have to declare the model here also. And now some of the errors will disappear because we have declared the model here. And we will remove the extra codes that is not needed. So we are not getting any error as of now. And you must have noticed when I just saved the code, everything like the beautification of the code automatically happened. So this is something that I have seen in this Flutter app development. So I think the Flutter extension that I installed, I think is handling everything. If I have not mentioned about this, that you have to install a Flutter extension in your Visual Studio before you start using it, and that Flutter extension will after installation will search for the Flutter setup that you have done or Flutter installation that you have done, the bin directory inside the Flutter. So before that you have to install Flutter extension in Visual Studio. So if I missed this part, please if you are going through the complete video, then please keep this in mind. So yeah, I think we are done with this part, and we should be able to use the HTTP service. And now let me just change the place of the code, and let's see if this works. So if we put the HTTP service declaration here, so still we are not getting any error. So I think it works here is also. If we declare it here, then I think it's giving some errors, because now it's inside the stateful widget, that is the parent stateful widget, and this is just used to declare the child and not for any other purpose. But when we are declaring this my stateful widget, then it's giving error, maybe because we have declared it as a constant. Let's try to remove this constant. Okay, now it's not giving error, but then this one is showing that it has not been declared. So anyway, we are not able to use it by declaring it here. So I will remove this code from here, and let's keep the code here itself, and then let's try to run this code. Oh, I think again I've lost the path thing, so I have to again export the path. So let me export the path. Ah, it didn't get copied. Okay, so but I've used the path export in wrong place. I think I have to do it again. Okay. Okay, so now our Flutter app has started compiling. So everything looks in place, and I cannot see any error as of now. So I think the compilation should be successful. The building process of the app should be successful, and it should also successful run on my mobile device. While it is building, let me discuss one more thing. You can see that the way I used the HTTP class inside the my stateful widget state class, where actually we are using the date picker. So in the parent app there is the date picker, and inside the date picker we are using actually the HTTP service class. So again there is a hierarchy. We are following a hierarchy. This hierarchy is very important in order to pass the data from parent to child. Previous to this, when I was doing this app, I took a wrong turn, and I was creating this HTTP class and the main.dart class in the same level of hierarchy, which was actually not allowing me to pass the data. But after I declared after I used the HTTP class inside the main.dart, inside the date picker, then I was able to use the data from the date picker and pass it to http.dart. Maybe there are other ways to pass the data in the same hierarchy, and I might not be knowing at this stage. But from what I have learned and seen, I think that this is what is important, that we follow the hierarchy of the classes, and from parent we can pass the data to the child, and that is, I think, the straightforward way. Okay, so our app is now running on the device, and let's check if this app is working or not. Okay, so it's working, but it's working a bit slow. I'm not sure what's the reason. Maybe because it's in debug mode. Few things are not working. Oh, I got the reason. So here I can see that the date is of 2021. So what we need to do is that we need to change these dates. We can simply change this date, and I think this should do the job for now. So the current month is December, so let's use December here, and today is 23rd, so let me use this. And now let's do the hot reload, and let's see if after this we are able to see the changes. Okay, hot reload is not helping, so we'll just restart this. Yeah, so now our app is working, and we are able to fetch the data from the endpoint, and we can get the product name and the number of view counts of the product that we are getting from the endpoint. And yeah, so this is pretty much working. Okay, there is the error. Okay, so this error that I'm getting, I think this is because of the date boundaries that are that is being used. So what I will do is that I will increase the date boundaries, and let's make it 27, and this should fix things. So I will again do hot reload. Okay, the hot reload is not working, so let's restart the app. So in some situations hot reload won't work. This even happened in React Native, and this I can notice in Flutter also. But okay, so our app is pretty much working, and it's showing views from different dates. So this is really great, and this is what we were up to. Okay, so I think that you must be able to fetch data from the endpoint, and you must be able to render it in the Flutter application after going through this video, because Flutter is still not very well discussed among developers, and there are very few examples you will find. That's why I told the learning curve